the entrepreneurial journey, it's a lot like mountain climbing. There's ups and there's downs. And the important thing is just keep going, man. Just keep going. There's support out there for you. Find it for yourself. Don't try and do it by yourself. There's people out there who want to see you succeed.
Welcome to the Business Builder Way podcast, where we help business builders grow leadership skills and wisdom and stay grounded through hero stories. So let's get after it. Hey, business builders, we're joined today by a repeat guest, Scott Kallick. Scott, it's really good to be with you. Scott is going to share a little bit about who he is and how he comes to business builders and what he's up to in the world right now. So Scott, really good to spend a little bit of time with you. Yeah. So the first question, which could go deeper, could be shallow, is who are you and why are you here?
Okay. Well, I'm a man of the world.
I like that. Yeah.
I've had a long career as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. I'm in my second career now. I had a successful business and a successful exit to my business. It was a defining role and defining part of my life, along with being a parent. But once I sold my company, I was in a very nice position where I could have retired. But emotionally, I really wasn't ready to retire. But I've been, spending the last 10 years really building a new business, actually the last 5, but building a business, building a brand. And why am I here? I'm here because my mission in life is not finished. I have a lot to accomplish. I have a lot to do. I feel like I'm in a very strong place. The world of entrepreneurship is a very special place, and it takes a lot to navigate it. And it takes a lot of support to get through it. I feel in a lot of ways I'm really very uniquely qualified to work with people and help people navigate their way through this journey. One thing I keep reading is that when people fail in business, the rate of depression, the rate of suicide, the rate of divorce skyrockets. And that's a horrible thing to have to fear. And right. I wouldn't want to see anybody go through that. It's a horrible thing to see a business go down the tubes.
Yeah, so you bring a whole lot of wisdom to our community, to your group, and to the rest of the business builders, like when we do a live event or when you're able to join one of the wider group calls. And it reminds me that I interviewed Spencer Howell some time ago, and Spencer is the youngest member of our group right now. Maybe there'll be another younger one. And Scott, you're the oldest member of our group. Yeah, you're the senior guy. And I love that range, actually, and that experience. And certainly most of us fall kind of in that mid 30s to 50-ish range, but it's Spencer's in his 20s, late 20s, and you're in your 60s. And that brings something really special to the group. And so we appreciate that. Before I go any farther, you and I did an episode before, so we get to talk about your business build that you mentioned and how you successfully exited, and that was in the coin laundry business. So people can go listen to that episode. If you just give like kind of the snippet, just the 1 or 2 minute though of what that was, the business that you were in, and what it was like when you exited it, how long you were in it, that would be great.
Yeah, so I had just gotten married. I grew up in Chicago. I was living in Chicago. I never thought I'd live anywhere else but Chicago because I always loved being there and had my family and friends there. But I had an opportunity to buy this small little, they called it the coin laundry route. So there were washers and dryers in different apartment buildings, and you'd service them and you'd take care of them and you'd collect the money and you'd pay the people a percentage of whatever it generated. And so I was able to cobble some money together, and I bought this little tiny route, and instantly I felt like I'd found my holy grail. It was like I couldn't wait to wake up every morning. I couldn't wait to go out. I'd hit the street. Some days I'd walk home with 5 leases, new accounts, and I was a machine, just building the company, and made a couple of acquisitions. And it kind of compounds on itself. And week after week, month after week, year after year, we grew and grew. And I didn't really want to do anything else. And I got to the point, 25 years of business. My wife My then wife and I were partners. Our marriage lasted about 20 years into that journey, and then we separated and then divorced. But we decided we wanted to continue to run the company together because we were very good at what we did, and we had a great company and we had great employees. But we become a mid-market, best-in-class, best-in-service company. And after a certain period of time, the pressure of the divorce, it got too great. And I really didn't want to continue anymore. I didn't really want to sell the company, but based on the fact that I had a partnership and the partnership really wasn't working for me in any way, it was just time to get out. So we caught a really good seam. But there was a period of consolidation about every 7 years in the industry. And we kind of caught it right there, right at the top of it. And we got very fortunate. We sold out right at the apex of that market. We actually had three companies bidding against each other on it. And it was very exciting to exit, but it left this huge void in me. Like, okay, who am I? And it's funny because I went through that when I got divorced too. This is always the way I looked at myself. I'm a husband, I'm a father. Well, now I'm not a husband anymore. Well, now I'm not a business owner anymore. Who am I? So it was a really interesting, both of those were very interesting times for me.
Yeah, and kind of skip ahead a little bit. You now are a coach and you work with business owners, and you've got that great experience of having built your own business. And just so I don't get too deep into this, if somebody did want to look you up and understand more about what you do, where would they find you
Well, they
online?
can find me on LinkedIn, which would point them to my website, which is scott@scottkallick.com. So either one of those places, they can find me. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now I know that recently, and I want to ask you some questions about this. You have studied and you had been doing a kind of a life success coaching program before that you went and learned about, and you added that to the skills that you already had as a business owner. You added that other program, and then you recently studied hard and went through classes and learned a new system designed to help business owners take a look at profitability and things. So you're adding that in. And you said, what'd you say, a traveler of the world? That I'm a traveler. Is that the phrase that you use?
I
But
said a
you're
man
off
of
the
the
world.
world, but
Yeah. And so you're in Colorado right now. You have a place in Pittsburgh, one in Colorado. So you're in your Colorado house. And so partially who you are, because that's what's interesting about you, not just the business and the big exit and the fact that you're vulnerable enough to talk about a void in your life. Thank you. All those things are interesting, but also you're golfing and you're skiing and you're kind of partitioning out and balancing life right now, right?
yeah, I mean, right now it's really important for me to have a balance in my life. And I always thought at some point I'd move to Colorado because I always thought of having an active retirement, being able to hike and bike and stay active in my retirement. As I really thought about it, I'm like, I don't really want to retire. I love the business world. I have a lot to give, and I really feel like I've got a mission. So I don't really want to retire. But the interesting thing is when you get into your 60s, and I speak for myself, but probably for a lot of other people as well. In my mind, I'm still a young man. I'm still in my 20s and 30s in my mind, but I don't have the legs I used to have. So I have this wisdom of, hey, I've built this and I kind of know how to do this, but I'm not going to be working 14-hour days anymore. It's just not in me anymore to do that, or nor do I have the desire. But I do enjoy working, and 6, 7 hour days are great for me. And it leaves me time to be out in Colorado. I live on a golf course. I can hop on the course whenever I want. So this summer I've golfed 3, 4, 5 days a week after I finish work. Got a couple bikes. There's great trails around here. I take the dog for hikes every day. So I'm outside 3, 4 hours a day at least, almost every day. So this is the balance that I was looking for and that I really want in my life.
And one of the things that you bring to the group and experience that you speak from lived experience is you'd had a health life scare and you had a couple episodes and you were in the hospital for a long time and you couldn't come to our group. And that has, I mean, I read Stoicism and it says that I should meditate upon my death and that that will be helpful. And I have thought about that, but I haven't thought about it, let's be frank. I haven't thought about it in the real raw way, certainly that you have. But that's something that you bring to your group and that you share too, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was 61 and I got diagnosed with Crohn's and I got really sick. I mean, I never carried a lot of weight. I always exercised all the time. I've always stayed lean, but I lost 50 pounds and I was malnourished and my colon was deteriorating and I had an operation to remove part of it, which set me back. And then the rest of it went bad. And I spent over 2 months in the hospital last year. And really, I think for me, maybe it's different for other people, but when I was as sick as I was, I think I was in a lot of denial. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry. I tell the kids, hey, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Go on, do what you're doing. Go on with your life. But looking back on it, and even having visited the doctor yesterday, she said, hey, you were the Walking Dead. You were in the waiting room. And I see that now. I was. And you get to the other side of that, and this could come back. I mean, it's not likely, but it very well could come back. But every day's a gift. I wake up in the morning and it's like, hey, what am I going to get done today? Someone sent me a list of like 100 accomplishments and 100 goals. Write that down. That's tough. One sitting, I got to about 20 on each side. Now I'm about 60. But every day I think of, oh, I want to do this. And I write it down. Not every day. I don't do it every day. But I've knocked off 3 or 4 of them this summer.
Yeah.
I went on a 9-mile hike up to Crystal Mill here, which was about a 7-8 hour hike, and couldn't get anybody to go with me, so I went by myself. But I savored every second of that. This is my bucket list. This is cool. This is what I want to do. So yeah, it definitely gives you a new perspective, and it gives you the freedom to say things to people that I wouldn't have normally said. Just tell people how I really feel about them. And as a coach, it gives me the freedom to really take stock and reflect on, hey, you're a great guy, but you're being a real butthead right now.
Yeah, at first when you said, well, I get to tell people how I really feel, I was thinking like, I tell people how I really feel, but no, what you were saying is I get to tell people I care about and how I really feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
like,
not always easy.
guys, especially guys my age,
Right.
and my parents' age, we haven't grown up comfortable telling our friends, hey, I love you. You're important to me. I love you. And it's given me the freedom to be able to say that, because do I know I'm going to be here tomorrow? Yeah, I'm probably going to be here tomorrow. But who knows what next year looks like or the year after. So,
Right.
yeah.
Well, thanks. And so the work you're doing now. So tell us a little bit about the work you're doing now. And I know like lately you've been excited. You're like, hey, I'm back to calling again. And you just mentioned now, like when you first got the laundry business, you'd be out and you were excited and you were going to meet new people and set up meetings and things. And you've been excited lately about the new work that you're doing.
Yeah. When I sold my company, I took a position in the corporate world. I wanted to really understand what it was all about and see what it was all about. And I wouldn't say I walked away disillusioned, but I walked away disillusioned. And I was like, okay, what's next? So I went back to school and I got a coaching certification. I started working mainly with startups because I kind of had a passion for that. I started a company from almost nothing and built it up and had this passion for that. And startups are difficult to work with. And I still work with some, and there's a handful of them that I really enjoy working with. But I really decided, you know what, I'm better served working with more established businesses. And so I'm working in a profit acceleration program now where I can work with them, I can sit with them, I can show them where the hidden profits are in their company. I can tell them areas in their company that they can really begin to grow and compound the growth in their company and create space for themselves, whether it be, hey, I'm getting to that age where in the next 4 or 5 years, I may be wanting to sell my company and I can help them get a better valuation on their company and put more money away for retirement and equity in their company. On the other side, if they're on the newer side of that journey or the middle side of that journey, maybe they're doing a lot. Maybe they're doing too much in their business. Maybe they're wearing too many hats, and create some space with new revenues to maybe hire an operations manager so they can really focus on the things they're really good at in their business and really take the time to look holistically in their business where they can really grow it. And that's very exciting. That's a very exciting thing for me to be able to do.
So you use the phrase, I've heard you say this to other people within the business builders community about, hey, you're a really good operator. So I've heard you say that to Craig in the group that you're in, like, you're a great operator. So you think about businesses and you think of that CEO and you think about them being the operator, and you like the numbers and you had an affinity for that when you had your own business. So for you to get involved with this new program, the Profit Acceleration program, and get in the numbers with a business owner to help them see what's really going on, identify opportunities, seems like it's a really good fit for you. And that sounds like operator too, operating on the numbers, right?
Yeah, it is. And the other part I really loved about having my own business was the creative opportunities, really looking at spaces where nobody had really looked before, doing things in a way that nobody had ever done them before. And to me, that's the real excitement of a business. When you're working in a company in the corporate world, you're basically following a dicta. This is the way it's done. This is the way we do it. You show up at this time and you do this. Having your own business gives you the opportunity to really express yourself in ways that the normal person really can't. And to get people really focused on that and excited about that is a really great opportunity, both for them and for me.
It sounds like you would say, or tell me if you agree with this, there is opportunity for artistic expression in the balance sheet and in the income statement.
And in the operation. Yeah. I mean, and in the operation, good operators look at solutions the way other people don't. They can look at something and say, hey, we're going to do it this way. Well, nobody's ever done it that way. Well, who cares? It's going to work because I think it's going to work and I believe it's going to work and it's going to work. That's when a company really can accelerate from an operational standpoint. But from a number standpoint, yeah, there's artistic expression there too.
So in building your business now, the current business, you are going out and you are working to make connections with people who are much like you were after the business had been established and was a little bit more down the road. So you're going out and connecting with them, and then you're having conversations with them so that you can create coaching arrangements and build your book of business, right?
Yes. A company that's doing $500,000, if you can grow them 20%, they're up to $600,000. It's 100,000. It's substantial. But when you're working with a company that's 7 or 8 million, and you can say, hey, let's grow this 10%. Well, let's bring another $800,000 into the bottom line. That gives people a lot of freedom to do a lot of things. That's an exciting place to be. And then you look at, hey, 10% is not that much. Let's look at 15 or 20 and really see what's possible for you.
So in your business now, you're using technology, you're using the training and education and best practices of this other company. And I also understand that you're working with you've discovered and you've talked about working with fractional assistants, people that are outsourcing, if you will, VAs, different way to say it. Those are all pieces now that you're bringing together in this business, right?
Well, it would be up to the operator to bring those people in, but I think they're very
But you're
viable.
personally using them.
I am using a VA. Yes. Yeah, because my technological skills are of a generation.
But well, and that's not the best use of your time and gifts. We just went through all these different experiences you've had in life and in business, so we don't need you to worry about that. All the techie, some of those finer tuning things. Yeah, for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of last question as we're wrapping up, Scott. If people are joining Business Builders, our mastermind group, both an individual small group and then the larger community, what advice would you give people for how to make the most of this program? And it could apply to any other mastermind group too, for that fact.
Well, two things. First of all, presence. Be present when you show up. Be very tuned in to the people who are talking. Listen with your heart as well as your eyes and your ears. When people are talking, don't be afraid to make the relationships in the group, because these are your friends and they're your team as well. And second of all, and believe me, I'm not 100% with this, but I'm getting there. Spend some time before the session. Spend 10, 15 minutes and really chart out what you want to get out of the session before you go.
Yeah, prep and then integration time afterwards. It's a good reminder for me in the group that I'm in too. And the other thing I've heard a couple of people say that I had a conversation with Scott, like one-on-one. So I think you've been engaging a bit with one-on-one conversations with other people in the community, and that always seems to really help everybody involved.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've done inside and outside this community over the last 4 or 5 years is I've become a tireless networker. I network all the time. I probably have 7 to 8 one-on-ones a week. I pass along 8 to 10 referrals every week. And it just, like, you do a one-on-one and people kind of forget who you are, but you give them a referral and you call them 6 months later, they're going to remember you. They're going to remember who you are and what you did. So it's a good thing to be able to do.
There's two guys in your group that tend to kind of bust on each other a lot. So I want to ask you, which is your favorite, Buddy or Craig?
Craig.
Without hesitation.
Well, I'm a big fan of sarcasm. So and Craig is about as sarcastic as they come. So
anything you'd like to close with, anything that you'd like to speak into other entrepreneurs who might be listening to this about the journey they're on, or anything like open mic, whatever you've got.
The entrepreneurial journey, it's a lot like mountain climbing. There's ups and there's downs. And the important thing is just keep going, man. Just keep going. You're cruising downhill and you think, hey, this is great. And then all of a sudden you look up and you have a 15% incline. It's just got to tough it out. And the other part is there's support out there for you. Find it for yourself. However that looks for you, there's support out there, and don't try and do it by yourself. There's people out there who want to see you succeed.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today. You're a gift to the business builders community, and I know to your clients, current and future too. So we appreciate you, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning into the Business Builder Way podcast. If this episode spoke to you, click that subscribe button and share it with a friend. That's how this message gets out into the world. If it is helpful for us to have a short conversation, I'd love to do that. Send me an email at wayne@businessbuildercamp.com.